Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Hello, Reese. This is Isaiah's mom. So we had talked on Saturday, of course, about the birthday party for little Jason. So the thing is with the Instagram, it's not the healthiest way to communicate, especially if Isaiah is going to attempt to get closer to his family. Like I told you on Saturday, I love little Jason. Isaiah loves little Jason. We've never had a problem. Okay. But the thing is, it's quite alarming and disturbing that lie that was told. And the lie was that you mentioned was that I had got into it with Reba and Alicia. Reba and Alicia are two of the sweetest people I ever met. I only was around Reba, I think, one time at Marcus' funeral. So this is my concern. It may be hard to look at it from the other person's perspective, but this is the thing. My son is not going to no family event after the way I was treated, and not only me, Isaiah's little brother. Why does Isaiah have to show up at the Pegasus family events and he can't bring other people and he's 24 years old? Everybody else shows up at the family events. Like when Lil Jason goes around the family, you're allowed to go with Lil Jason. So Isaiah has another side of the family, and I never had no problem. Now, I ended up talking to Big Jason, and he sounds very severely kind of sick. I mean, he's sick.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Hi, Reese. This is Isaiah's mom again. So my concern is I'm just expressing my concern so maybe that Isaiah will be able to work it out. So from this end, we love Isaiah. Okay. Myself, his little brother, Isaiah is very much loved. So it poses a safety concern because after I got off the phone with you, I talked to Big Jason. So it appears that maybe he's the one that told you to lie, that there was some problem with Reba and Alicia in the past, which is totally a lie. So from my perspective, what if Isaiah goes to a family event and Big Jason or someone else lies on my son? So what I don't want to happen is my son is in his 20s and he gets into it with anybody at the family. It just doesn't feel like a patient. So what I would like to do is get some phone communication going because Isaiah has expressed this just through Instagram. And to me, that's not the best way he should be communicating with his brother because Lil Jason is his brother. So they should talk on the phone, right? This is my phone number here. I would actually, if you didn't mind, I would like to talk to you and little Jason so we can kind of get it resolved so that it can be a comfortable and safe situation. But I told Isaiah this: there's nowhere he should have to go alone without support, whether it be at a family event. There's nowhere that I've ever went around a family where he has to go alone.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
So I would like to resolve the situation so that my family feels more comfortable because I just want to feel like Isaiah's safe going to the family. Because Big Jason, he acts, after I talked to him, I got a very uncomfortable feeling, even about Big Jason's mental health. He doesn't sound like he's right. And so I just don't want to put Isaiah in a situation because it appears that Big Jason is the one that told you to lie. So, it's like I'm throwing my son out to the wolves. I don't want my male son going around the family and Big Jason or someone else just lies on him. So please call me at this phone number because I would like to, if possible, get some actual phone communication going. If little Jason is interested, him and Isaiah actually talking on the phone. Because due to this situation, we missed out on little Jason's 40th birthday party, right? Why does Isaiah have to go to family events alone and you guys are not showing up alone? What if Isaiah wanted to bring one of his coworkers? But there's no way that my son should be going anywhere and his main protectors cannot go. And his main protectors are myself and Isaiah's little brother Daniel. We are Isaiah's protectors, not the Peggis family. So I would like to work it out, but it's just really alarming and disturbing that that lie was told. And so I'm not going to put my son in a situation where he's lied on. And then he's in some kind of confrontation. Thank you so much for the likes, y'all. I'm going to explain this situation here soon. Lies are disturbing, y'all.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
And I also want to add this: Big Jason and Isaiah, they're not very close because of the type of parent that Big Jason has been. And we're not mad with him. We just want to make sure that when Isaiah goes to these events that he's safe. And we've discussed it as a family, and Isaiah don't have to go around y'all alone. I mean, he's in his 20s. So who's there at the family to protect Isaiah? If Big Jason, his own father, attacks him or lies on him, lies on my son. So what happens? So it's like a major red flag, right? How would you feel if someone lied on you and said that you got into it with someone that you never got into it with, Reese? How would that make you feel? So we know it's a lie. And so we're just not going to send Isaiah in the lion's den and then he go over there and he's lied on by Big Jason as well. So we would like to have some phone communication. And if you can have Lil Jason call me And so I could talk to him too, because Lil Jason is not the problem. And I really don't feel that Lil Jason would be okay with how things went down on Saturday. I mean, as far as I know from Lil Jason, it's not his nature to. Lil Jason has never disrespected me. So, we're having this communication through people. And, I know you're doing the best you could do, Reese, but I would like to have some communication about this so we can see what we can work out, because Isaiah told me you sent an Instagram about the next family event. Look how Isaiah was just treated at this family event, a 40th birthday party for his brother Lil Jason.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Yeah, 40th birthday party for Lil Jason, that's pretty much a family event. And it's just not okay to treat myself and Isaiah's little brother that way. And I mean, it's just simple. Like, Isaiah doesn't have to show up at none of these events by himself. He should be allowed to bring someone else. And so the lie is disturbing that's being told. So to me, that's like a major red flag. So how do I know that I'm not sending my son into the lion's den and a major lie is told on Isaiah, which could lead him into the policing system? Say he goes over there to a family event and Big Jason lies on my son, because they're not close. Big Jason and Isaiah are not close. So we would like to have a better relationship with Lil Jason, and Isaiah would like that, but that's not going to happen because they keep communicating through Instagram. Why don't they have each other's phone numbers? I mean, brothers should have each other's phone numbers. So please call me back, because we want to try to resolve the conflict. And I appreciate the apology you gave, Isaiah, but it's not fully resolving it. It's just not resolving it. So I think if hopefully we can communicate and get Lil Jason in on this conversation so we can resolve the issue. Because like I told you Saturday, um, we love Lil Jason, and we're separating Lil Jason from Big Jason's issues. That's separate. Isaiah, he's not close to his father. His father puts forth no effort. So we want to just resolve it and have a better future.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Hello, Reese. Yeah, we would just like to resolve it so we can go on and have a better future with this. And there was an apology given to my son, but none given to me when I was the one that was lied on. So there should be several apologies going on here, not just to Isaiah. My youngest son Daniel feelings was hurt. My feelings was hurt. Like when we did the RSVP, you're doing that to human beings, right? And it was just based on lies. And so I'm not gonna put my son in a situation. It is my job as Isaiah's mother to educate him so that he's not in disputes. And it's just not okay. That's a red flag. Like I said, what if he's at one of the family events alone and Big Jason or whomever told you that lie lies on Isaiah too? Then what happens? No, it's just not appropriate. So um please have can you please have you and Lil Jason call me, and have Lil Jason call me at this phone number. So again, this phone number is against you. There's nothing personal against you, Reese. I was so happy to talk to you and to meet you. So I would like to proceed with the better family plan if it's possible. And I'm just trying to support Isaiah in his endeavors of trying to get closer to his brother. And I would like to see that happen. I would like to see Lil Jason and Isaiah get closer if possible. But we want to try to rectify the situation and work it out because I'm not really happy with the result, and I'm in no way gonna send Isaiah into any danger zone. Okay. Yeah, so this is what's going on, y'all. Um, this is a very complicated situation. So, um, official hoodie buddy, hello. And then hi Edge, hello. So this is what happened. Thank you so much for saying official hoodie buddy what's happening. So what's happening is this. Okay, of course I have this channel, okay? So we want to always be mindful of danger, okay? And so what happened is there was a 40th birthday party that my son was invited to, okay? And so I'm a support to the family. So my son had to go to work that day. So I was like, fine. You know, me, I do my best. I handle some of the phone calls for the family, and my sons, they handle their own calls as well. But they're in situations like if you're at school, you can't make phone calls in class and stuff like that. So I try to help with like phone calls and things like that. Thank you so much for the likes, y'all. So there was a RSVP. So it was an invite sent through Instagram, and it's not through one of those Partiful apps where you just click on. I'm used to like the Partiful apps where there's get-togethers and you just click on, yes, I'm coming. How many people are coming? You list their names, no problem. When I receive invites, there's nowhere that I go where my family is not welcomed. And I'm talking about family members that live in my household, y'all. And I'm going to suggest the same for you. If you are RSVPing for things, especially if it's not school related. Now, there's some incidents where your RSVP for certain circumstances, it will be rare where you cannot bring anyone with you. But it's just like if a buddy from work invites you to their gathering at their home and they give you the invite. Some invites will say to Larry and his family. But some invites will just say Larry. But it's like common sense, right? So when Larry does a RSVP for this after work gathering at this coworker's house, I'm just giving you an example. Larry should be allowed to bring his wife. He just should. I mean, it's kind of like borderline disrespectful. And you know, like in some incidences, like for school graduations now, some schools let you bring up to 20 people, or however many you want to, but some schools now, it's a limitation on the amount of people, right? So Isaiah received this 40th birthday invite from one of his relatives. And of course, it's his brother from his dad's side, okay? So Isaiah, Isaiah, in some sense, he's in a form of kind of no contact. He doesn't have a real great relationship with his father. So this invite came in, and of course, it was way in the major city. So one of the issues is Isaiah does not have a car, y'all. So one of the things about me, I'm a protector, okay? And I know too much information not to protect my family. So you got to understand this. One of the things you don't want to do is watch crime cases and then just become one so easily. you know too much knowledge to get yourself in these situations. So, like one of my favorite channels is the Missing Found podcast. And the Missing Found podcast by Jaden Harlow, it clearly will show you that at any point in time, your family can go to a location, whether it be a party, a bar, a work location, a school. They can meet up with the wrong person and they vanish off the radar and you never see them again. So Isaiah doesn't drive, but he does work. So there was a lot of narcissism that we entered into this situation. So you got to remember when you RSVP for an event, that person that answers that phone to take that RSVP can be highly narcissistic. Okay. So we were excited. I mean, I'm like, we hadn't seen Isaiah's little brother in years. It's his 40th birthday. I'm like, wow, I cannot believe how old he is. Isaiah's big brother just turned 40, and he's old enough to really be Isaiah's dad almost, right? And this is the brother from the father's side. So I did the RSVP. This was like Saturday. So Lil Jason is married now. He has a wife named Reese. So RSVP, and this has never happened to me in my entire life, right? I've never RSVP'd and got this type of response. So she took the RSVP. When I called, she said, "Oh, no problem. You bring in Isaiah." She said, "How many people?" I said, "It's gonna be Isaiah, his mother, and his little brother." Okay. Which would be Daniel. So I did the RSVP for 3 of us. And I explained to her, it's kind of Isaiah's going to be going into the big city, the car issue. We just want to ride in with them, for safety purposes too. And you have to keep in mind Isaiah is re-engaging back in his family. Isaiah hasn't been at an event, or he hasn't any hangouts with his father's side of the family in many, many years, right? And I wasn't really tripping off that part. It's just that we love Lil Jason, so we wanted to support him as well. There was some kind deeds that Lil Jason had done for me when Isaiah was a little boy, and so this was gonna be my way of giving back. Bringing a gift, showing up, celebrating him. It's Lil Jason's 40th birthday. He's not my biological son, but we had just saw this picture of Lil Jason holding Isaiah when he was a baby. So prior to this happening, let me explain this part so you'll know where some of the conflict and the grudge could be coming from. Through Isaiah's younger years, he was very traumatized on how his dad, Big Jason, would sporadically pick him up, like start picking up on the weekends and then just drop off the radar. So Isaiah went through a tough time when he was like 10, 11, 12, right around there. So this may sound kind of, you may not agree with this, but this is the truth. It's better to have a deadbeat father than to have one that's doing psychological warfare on you, that's coming in and out of your life. It's uncertainty, being uncertain, right? So whether you believe it or not, it's better to either have a parent full time or not have one. The mixed emotion and that in between playing with your mind can cause a lot of harm to a child or anyone, right? So recently, the dad of Isaiah, Big Jason, he claimed that his car broke down. So what he did, Isaiah was pretty much in a no contact. This is a dad that when Isaiah was a teenager and I was displaced, he left him in a to live in a SUV with me, and his dad had a home. very very, that's borderline cruel, right? Like I had provided a home for Isaiah his whole life, and Isaiah just needed help 4 months of his life, and his father left him in a vehicle. He's a very selfish man. Lil Jason, which is Isaiah's brother, also was pretty much raised by his grandmother, which is Big Jason's mother. Okay. So, Isaiah is not the first child that has experienced this deadbeat behavior, but Isaiah is the first child that went into a complete no contact. So what Isaiah is trying to do is he's like, okay, I don't have a good relationship with my dad. However, I'm gonna try to build one with my half brother on my dad's side. And I'm saying half brother to to so that Lil Jason is not my biological son, but he is Isaiah's brother. So all my children, they have other siblings from their dad, right? So um so I did the RSVP, it went through fine. Then I get a call right back from Lil Jason's wife saying, well, it's not gonna work, only Isaiah could come. And I'm like, why? What's going on? So she said, well, because I asked why. I mean, I was in shock, right? She said, well, someone said that, she said, do you know who Reba and Alicia is? I said, yeah, of course. That's Lil Jason's mom and little sister. What's going on? She said, well, you got into it with them. I only met Reba one time, y'all. Reba, one of those ladies, and I met her. So this is what I told Reese. I said, so I told the truth, right? So what I did was made her aware of what really happened. I said I never got into it with Reba. I met her one time when I was at her son's funeral, which would have been Lil Jason and Isaiah and Big Brother, right? So I said I supported Marcus when he passed away. Donated, was supportive, was kind, gave her a hug. That doesn't sound like we got into it, right? Reba's so sweet, y'all. She's married to a white man right now, an older white man, and has been married to him for many years. She's so sweet. It don't even sound right when somebody say you got into it with her. Okay, Reba's so sweet that if somebody got into it with her, they're definitely the problem. But this did not happen. But the reason the person told the lie on me is this is a family where it's not a ghetto family. Isaiah family, it's not really a ghetto family, so there's no fights and disputes going on. So the way to get me, not just me, but Daniel as well, to be outed from the event is to just tell the lie that I got into it with somebody. So see, it's not a hood family, right? But just because it's not a hood family don't mean nothing dangerous can't happen. So and Reese, Lil Jason's wife, she's not a person that argues like that, right? So all you got to tell somebody that has a family that doesn't fight with each other is that this person over here gets into it with people. That lie will work every time because no one wants to deal with someone that gets into it with people. Okay? Keep that in mind. So it's a lie that gets the person canceled, so to speak. And it worked. So what I did, Isaiah's family is also not a supportive family. So one of the things Lil Jason's wife did, which is Isaiah half brother, she mentioned, she said, oh, he's in his 20s, he doesn't drive. I said, no, he doesn't drive. So she kind of devalued Isaiah, right? Oh, he's 20 something, he doesn't drive. I said, but he works very, very hard. He works very hard. He's had his job for years, and he does. He catches the bus. That's not illegal, y'all. And it's not abnormal. There's people that catch the bus and catch cabs their whole life. My grandmother and my mother, they did not drive. And I know men the same way. There's men. I was just watching a video of Watt Davis, and it appears that he didn't drive as well. He didn't have a car, a phone, and none of that. He was catching cabs, and Pete Pete Parisi, the Italian guy, was taking Watt Davis around. This was some videos I was watching of Watt Davis in St. Louis, Missouri. When I did the videos of my grandmother, my sister discovering my grandmother's videos. Okay, so I got to watch some videos of Watt Davis and stuff like that. So anyway, getting back on the subject, Lil Jason's wife, she's from my perspective, just entering into the situation. So I'm just going to explain this. You know, you got the four personality types: the narcissist, the narcissistic person, the normal, and the empath. So when I'm interacting with Reese, Lil Jason's wife, she's not giving off empath energy. Empaths, we listen to the other side too and use a lot of logic. So to me, she was coming off highly narcissistic, but she's in a narcissistic family, right? She's married into a narcissistic family. Um, I believe that Isaiah's grandmother on the father's side is what you call a covert narcissist. I believe that. And of course, H.G. Tudor would describe a covert narcissist as like a middle range narcissist or a lesser narcissist. But I would say she's a true covert narcissist. So I'm going to say middle range. So, from my perspective, now since I know what a narcissist is, I would maybe consider Isaiah's grandma in the covert narcissist category. And because over the decades and decades, I've just watched how they do things, and it's just not, her behavior is just not in line as being a empath. It's just not. So she's more like a covert narcissist. So going back to what I was saying, when I'm talking to Reese, there's this whole lie, right? So you got to think about this. This lie is saying, no, me and Daniel can't come because I got into it with Reba and Alicia, which this never happened. Okay. Most of Alicia's life, or I think the first 5 years of her life, she was in a foster home because her father, Big Jason, got a call and they say, do you want your daughter? And he said no. And she was stuck in a foster home for, I think, 5 years or so. So I just pointed out, the facts and stuff in the situation of, and I think let me see. I had took some notes on some of the things I had brought up, right? So hold on, let me go in my notes. Kind of go over this. Let me see. Someone says beautiful Tuesday. And then hello, Natalie. Welcome back. Beautiful Tuesday to you as well, dear heart. Welcome back. Welcome back. So yeah, Natalie, I think the last time you were in the live, you and Coffee Black really helped with the live a lot. So everyone say hi to Natalie. So let me go back in this message. So let me see, because it was on Saturday. Yeah, because I do notes that way I can go over, because I knew I was going to do a video about this. Um, Hold on, let me go find. I think I put it in the notes. Yeah, of course, Natalie. Go ask. Yeah, you can ask anything here. Yeah, you sure can. Yeah, go ahead. You're not being nosy. What's your question? You know what? How I'm handling it, Natalie? Let me tell you something. This is the first thing. Let me explain something to you about stress. For one, it's not stress. Let me tell you why. See, there's different levels. That's a good question. How am I handling all this stress? How I handle it is by handling it logically and calmly. So, the first thing you got to do, one of the things I do, let me tell you what I do. See, you have an advantage now. So, one of the advantages is this channel and that we know what narcissism is. Therefore, we should have more self control. So, the way I handle it is keeping a certain level of control. And I believe in the Lord. Okay. So, that's one way I handle it. So, um, one of the things that will happen to good people is you will be lied on. You're being tested, right? So, this is the thing. With stress, you don't even know it's getting ready to happen. I talked about this on another video where I said, remember I said this. I'm not sure if you was on that live, Natalie, but I said this. I will meet narcissists. I don't care how much I go no contact with them. I'm going to run into new ones, right? So when you get a party invite, right? Isaiah got a party invite. So I'm an empath. So I'm going to support Isaiah, right? So even though I'm very clairvoyant and psychic in a lot of ways, and I have my prophetic gift, the Lord is not going to allow me to predict everything. I'm not the Lord, right? Now, my clairvoyant gift told me to do that RSVP for Isaiah. And it's a smart thing to do because imagine if we would have showed up at this 40th birthday party for Lil Jason and we was told when we got there to leave. See how toxic that would have been? So how I handle the stress is always following my intuition. So I handle the stress by not making it stress. See, when something happens, what makes it stressful or more stressful is the way you react to it. So I'm going to tell you exactly how I handled it. So remember, this is advanced insight. We're all advanced here. So when I'm entering into this situation, I'm doing the RSVP. It went fine. She accepted the RSVP. Okay, Isaiah, her mom, and her little brother. But when that was done, it looks like she had a conversation with Isaiah's dad and he told the lie. So what happened is he's retaliating. So this is what happened. Within about a couple of weeks prior to that, see, Isaiah's dad, a deadbeat father, any father that's sporadically coming in and out your life, that's an abuser. Okay. So one of the ways I handle stress is by recognizing what someone is. What are they? And what are they to my family? So I handle stress by using what a intelligent gentleman just told me, critical thinking. See, I'm a critical thinker. So I can objectively use critical thinking, and it's a non-biased thinking, being able to break things down in little pieces, being able to look at everybody's perspective and coming up with an analogy that makes sense and that will protect everyone involved. So the way I handle the stress is, for one, speaking. So one of the ways I handle stress is speaking, not through cursing the person out. So when this Reese lady, which would be Lil Jason's wife, when she called back and said that only Isaiah could come, not me and Isaiah's little brother, this is when I asked her why. So one of the ways I reduced stress was to ask why. So one of the ways I reduce stress is asking questions and continuing the communication without profanity. Because Reese, she's not cussing at me. And she's being quite kind. You know what? When I asked her why, she told me why. She snitched, right? And you know what? I'm going to tell you this. I actually like when she said, "Do you know Reba and Alicia?" Her intuition knows that I'm not around much. Reese has not met me in person yet because I'm not with the father, right? So one of her questions was, which I think is like kind of like her intuition notifying her that something is not right. See, when there's a lie being told, there's the angels may talk to Reese and say, ask this question. So she asked, did I know Reba and Alicia? I said, yeah. And I explained to her how I know them. And then she said, well, someone said that you got into it with, you had disputes with Reba and Alicia. And none of this never happened. None of this ever happened. So, and I explained Reba's personality. The only time I was around Reba was to give her support and to show love towards her son that died and got killed. He got shot. And to be quite frank, I'm just going to be honest. During the period where Marcus was unalived and shot, I think and suspect that I was around him more. You know, because I'm the one, a month before Marcus got shot, his own father refused to give him a ride down the street, it's down the street driving, but it was quite a ways going down the street. And it would have been a long walk, and it was late at night. And at that time, Marcus would have been in his early 20s. Okay. He's not my biological son, but I remember telling Big Jason, which would be my son's father and all these kids' father, even though some of the sons are not biologically mine, I remember saying, why don't you give Marcus a ride? See, Marcus, he had already almost died, and he had his stomach. They had to sew his stomach up. He was in a horrible car crash. So right before Marcus got shot by this teenage girl, he had already died in a car crash. So I'm real kind of hard and strict on loving people when they right in front of you. Now, when people are out of town, they not around, you can't love them the same. They not around. But if the Lord puts somebody right in my face, I'm going to treat them right. Okay. And so I had a brand new car back then. The father was evil and mean and refused to take Marcus down the street. I took him. So ironically, when I took Marcus down to this house, there was this horrible energy about this house. And I didn't even want Marcus to go in there. The house was scary to me. But remember, I'm clairvoyant. So that was my gift working in play. So I came back to the house and I told Isaiah's dad, I said, I didn't feel right about that house that I dropped Marcus off at. And I didn't even want him to go in there. Within 4 weeks of me dropping him off at that house, Marcus was shot and killed in that same house. But I was telling the father something not right with that house. But remember, that's part of my clairvoyant gift. I can feel these things. I felt a death spirit coming off that house. And I didn't want to let Marcus go in there, but he chose to go in there. And for me, when I get a feeling like that about a location, I'm not gonna dare go in there. Because if I'm telling you not to go in, I ain't going in there. Ultimately, Marcus was unalived by a teenage girl at that house, and the family. The danger was Marcus was the only person in that house that was not blood related to that family. So what happened was all of those blood family members teamed up together, concocted a story, and took the little girl's side because she's the blood family. Basically, Marcus had taken on another family that was not his blood family. And so the little girl, she was like 14. She only did about a year and a half in juvenile for shooting somebody, horribly shooting somebody, right? So, and who knows? We don't know if one of the adults put her up to it. We don't know how it happened, but she didn't do much time for that and was mad that she had to do the year and a half in juvenile. She sure was. She was mad. So it was a horrible situation. So this is what I was telling Reese on the phone. So what I did, I gave her, hold on, let me go in this text so I can tell you some of the things I told her because I talked to her for a little while. So I said, I told her the truth that I never got into it with Alicia and Reed, but I said that's not true. That's a lie. Um, I told her I was at Marcus' funeral. I gave Marcus a ride when his own father wouldn't. Um, I remember the kind way that little Jason was to us. And I told her, I said, it's little Jason's birthday party. He don't care if I come. It was a surprise birthday party. So what happens is, um, and you got to consider this. If anyone gives you a surprise birthday party and there's certain people that don't show up, it might be healthy to reach out and figure out why. Because the danger in a surprise birthday party is when it comes to this RSVPs, because you got these narcissists telling the people that really love you that you can't show up. So you're sitting back like little Jason, he could sit back and be like, dang, I did all these good deeds for Isaiah's mom. And Isaiah, why couldn't they just come to my 40th birthday party? This is what little Jason could be thinking. But it was a surprise birthday party. So you got to remember the person that's being surprised, he's being victimized as well because people that really love him are told not to come. So, or people that love little Jason are made to feel uncomfortable to where Isaiah doesn't even feel comfortable enough coming. So I told Reese, because she called me back about this RSVP. I said, we pretty much busy. I admitted and accepted responsibility on how busy Isaiah and I are. And I told Reese about the recent incident with Isaiah's dad. So what happened is Isaiah's dad, because Isaiah's pretty much kind of like in a no contact because he has a deadbeat father, which is the best emotional state for Isaiah to be in. So it's the best emotional state. When Isaiah is in a no contact with his deadbeat father, he's in a good emotional state. Okay, there's a behavior. Isaiah's calmer, he's more relaxed, he's chilled out. So I told Reese, this is Lil Jason's wife that I'm doing the RSVP with. I said there was an incident a couple of weeks ago where I talked to Isaiah's dad because he was doing psychological warfare on Isaiah, telling him he gonna meet with him, but don't meet with him. So what an abuser does, a deadbeat father is an abuser. The abuse is the neglect. Neglect is abuse. Okay. Ongoing neglect, nonstop neglect, temporary neglect. It is a form of abuse and it is abuse. Okay. And it causes horrible emotional problems, and everything. Um, I was a victim of neglect. I was neglected. Okay. Fortunately, there was enough intervention where my hierarchy of human needs were still met through interventions because I had other family members that was not neglecting me, if that makes sense. Friends and family members of the family. So I'm very fortunate that there was intervention. Um, so with Isaiah's dad, see, this is the thing with my family. We are a close family. My family in the house, we are a small family, but we are a close family. So we kind of know what's going on. So Isaiah reached out and he said that him and his father were supposed to meet. Isaiah's father kept canceling. So Isaiah became a little stressed and a little sad. See what the abuser is doing, a deadbeat father, he can come back. A deadbeat father can come back when you are a teenager or older, and he can restart your trauma all over again. So if you were traumatized by your deadbeat father, because we're talking about fathers in this situation, and you got over it, and you've been in a no contact, and you're over the man, he can show back up when you're 20 or 30, just like the devil, and he can bring you right back and make you relive your trauma that you already went through. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. And the way he does it is through canceling appointments with you, messaging you only, not having a phone conversation with you. You know, a parent gonna say, "Boy, call me. What's your number?" Right? So the deadbeat father is coming back to re-traumatize. A deadbeat father does not have empathy for his son. So there was an incident I was explaining to Reese because I wanted her to know what was going on. And I had reached out to Isaiah's dad and, text, and I spoke to him on the phone. And he said his car was broke down. I said, okay, well, when you're really ready to meet with Isaiah, then contact Isaiah, right? But if you're, don't play a mind game with them, because I said Isaiah, he goes through a lot of Isaiah has to be mentally focused. So because Isaiah works a job now, right? And so Isaiah needs his anxiety, and he doesn't need to be riddled with anxiety because a deadbeat father is coming back to re-traumatize him. And let me explain something about your children. You are the protector no matter how old they are. You can intervene when a parent is harming your child, even if it's your adult child. There's no age limit on this, right? It doesn't work like that. It doesn't mean, well, since he's older, his dad has a right to abuse him. It doesn't work like that. Okay. So, like I said, I'm a close family. Okay. I don't run my family a lot of the ways that I was raised. Um, there was an incident I had reported to my grandmother when I was a teenager with this Mr. Jones guy that worked at her restaurant, or was trying to take over my grandmother's restaurant, and I reported what he did. And ultimately, my grandmother laughed about it. I'm not that type of person, right? So I'm actually a protector of my family. So if you come to me and report something, it's not funny. It's a serious matter that needs to be handled professionally, not handled violently, but professionally. So Isaiah's dad just left him alone, and he stopped doing these appointments with Isaiah that he wasn't going to show up to. He's angry with Isaiah. Isaiah was in no contact with him. And so um, Isaiah's dad is probably a covert narcissist as well, just like the grandmother. These are covert narcissists, right? So these are the narcissists. I don't even like to fully use that word, but I'm going to use it in this case because these are the narcissists that you don't even know that they narcissists until decades and decades later. Okay. And they do wear a mask. Covert narcissists, they really wear a mask. They behave one way, and then all of a sudden they just this totally different person. And from my perspective, Isaiah's dad is behaving like a covert narcissist. Also, he's a very sick man. So Isaiah's dad is a very sick man, okay, physically sick. And so, I mentioned the Reese too with the RSVP. I said, Isaiah's family is not really a supportive family. And and then when she told me I got into it with Reba and Alicia, I'm like, back in the day, me and my daughter, my oldest daughter, my firstborn daughter, we was willing to go find this girl and, handle this girl because this girl had unalived Marcus. So I'm somebody that was willing to really throw it down because somebody had murdered Reba's son. So I'm one of Reba's protectors. I was not anybody that was getting into it with Reba. Behind closed doors, me and my oldest daughter was like, let's go handle this teenage girl that killed Marcus, because we all love Marcus and Lil Jason. Okay. The problem wasn't with the kids, it's with the deadbeat father. They're all being victimized by a deadbeat father. So anyway, Isaiah's planning to go to the party. So, I update Isaiah on what happened. This was Saturday. Ultimately, Isaiah got off work Saturday. It was very complicated. I even asked Isaiah's dad if Isaiah could ride in with him. Isaiah's dad mentioned that one of his good friends that knew me and Isaiah was going to take him to the party, right? So I texted Isaiah and called and tried to see if Isaiah could ride in with his father. But remember, Isaiah doesn't have a supportive father. This is a father that left him in a vehicle when he was a teenager. I provided a home for Isaiah his whole life. All his dad had to do was help him for 4 to 8 months. He couldn't even do that. He couldn't help him for 4 months, y'all. Can you imagine being in a home and you got a place, but your child is living outside somewhere? And your child's mother has provided a home for the child their entire life. You can't help them for 4 months? Come on now. That's a really deadbeat father. And so me and Isaiah understand this. We don't argue with Isaiah's dad or none of that. We don't argue. So I asked Reese, Lil Jason's wife, I said, who told you that lie? So she wouldn't tell me who told. But remember, I'm a clairvoyant. I got right off that phone and called Isaiah's dad. And I told him what was going on. And he mentioned, Isaiah's dad said he had just got off the phone with Reese. So Isaiah's dad is the one who told the lie on me. And I said, well, why would you tell that lie that I got into it with Reba and Alicia? That's not true. So Isaiah's dad ended up asking me, we was on the phone a couple of minutes. This man asked me, why didn't I stay with him? So I'm like, oh my God, this man is gone in the head. And I will do a separate video on what my answer was to that. A covert narcissist asking me, why didn't I stay in the relationship? When I know it's a covert narcissist, one of the things I don't do is share too much of my spiritual life, right? So one of the things I did not mention and I avoided mentioning was this because the Lord don't want me with you. That's why I'm under the Lord's protection. Isaiah's dad is very ill mentally and physically. He suffers body pains. He's on a lot of medications. If I was with Isaiah's dad, I would be like a hospice wife, right? And so narcissists won't ever think about this when they're asking people questions. So when Isaiah's dad asked me, why did I stay with him? One of my responses was this: I wasn't happy with the way you treated me. He wasn't a woman beater. Isaiah's dad was not a woman beater. Okay. So narcissists, they don't remember the complaints you had. He's a covert. Blink. Isaiah's dad is a covert narcissist, right? So hold on one second, y'all. He's a covert narcissist. So okay, sorry about that, y'all. So I gotta get that smoke alarm fixed too. So Isaiah's thank you so much for holding. And thank you so much for the like. So, like I was saying, Isaiah's dad is a covert narcissist. And that's not a word I throw around a lot on this channel, right? With the covert part of it. But remember, narcissism is a pattern of behaviors over a period of time, right? So, with covert narcissists, you may not even realize that that's what they are until you've known them 30 years, y'all. You could know somebody 30 some years, but one thing you'll know is they're not an empath. Okay, you may know that. A covert narcissist, they will come off more like a normal sometimes. They're not somebody that's highly argumentative. They almost present as peaceful people. But one of the common traits of a covert narcissist, from my perspective, the ones that I've been around, they usually will not be involved in religion much. So these covert narcissists, these are kind of like that, what that old saying, ungodly people, right? So there will be certain traits that they'll have similar. They'll seem humble, but they don't go to church. They don't go to the masjid. They don't go to the mosque. So that's the red flag. So these covert narcissists, they will kind of be what the Bible describes as kind of evil and wicked and shisty people, cricket people, double-minded, what the Bible talk about, the double-minded man, stuff like that. So Isaiah's dad is pretty much similar to a covert narcissist. I'm sure that that's what he is, and I'm definitely for sure about it now. Um, he's also a aging narcissist. Isaiah's dad is a lot older than. Okay, me and him are not the same age. I had Isaiah by a older man. Okay, and Isaiah's dad, he's had a lot of time to live alone, and he's deep in his misery and depression, and he's on a lot of prescription medications. Um, he does not have a wife, an active girlfriend. He lives alone, and he's very, very deep in his misery. Okay, and what happens with a covert narcissist or any narcissist when they're deep in this misery, they got a lot of time to think about the past. So what they do like a revision of history. And I talked about this in another video. Narcissists, they don't remember what they did to you. Okay, so this man was not no woman beater or nothing like that. But that's not the only reason you can break up with a man, right? A man, you cannot stay with a man or stay in a relationship with the man for many reasons outside of him beating up on you or getting violent. Okay. So when Isaiah's dad asked me, of course, he's the one that told the lie on me. Because as soon as I got off the phone with Reese, Lil Jason's wife, I called Big Jason, Isaiah's dad, and he had just talked to her. So he's the one that told the lie that I got into it with Reba and Alicia. Okay. He's that because that's who Reese was on the phone with. Reese wouldn't tell me who she was on the phone with, but he did. And as soon as I got off the phone with Reese, I called that fool. Because remember, I'm prophetic. I called the first one that was on my mind. My intuition told me to call that Negro. And so I did. I called Isaiah's dad. And he's very in a miserable place right now, right? So one of his questions was, why didn't I stay with him? And that's not even congruent with what's going on. We're talking about attending a birthday party. So Isaiah's dad say he wasn't gonna come with no woman or be there with nobody or nothing like that. Because I wanted to make sure that wasn't the issue. Sometimes, the dad might have his new fiance, a woman with him, so he don't want me to come, but that wasn't the issue. So I just made sure that I wasn't stepping over any boundaries. Because sometimes the baby daddy feels uncomfortable with his baby mama showing up if he got a new love, right? But this wasn't the case. Isaiah's dad said that wasn't the issue. He was going to be going with one of their family friends, and the family friend was going to give him a ride. But see, Isaiah's family, it is a non-supportive family. So Isaiah got off work. He had, got off work, and the intention was to go to the party. But I did reach out to the dad and asked if Isaiah could ride with them, and we were willing to pay for it. Okay, so if Ubers are going to charge us $200 total, $90 there, $110 coming back, somewhere around there, $106, basically $200 for Ubers to get there and back, because it's in the major big city, right? We wouldn't have minded paying Isaiah's dad family friend $25 each way, $50 basically. So Isaiah's dad does not support Isaiah and help him with transportation, right? And so he ignored the texts, ignored my phone calls. Isaiah's dad is a deadbeat father, and he doesn't want him there. So the danger is this. This is the danger that a male would be in, especially a black male with a father like this, right? See, Isaiah's aged out. Isaiah's older. Okay, so his dad is not his protector. So what if Isaiah went to the party and Isaiah's dad lie on Isaiah. See, Isaiah is no longer a little boy. He's considered a man. So what if Isaiah's dad lied on Isaiah and Isaiah got jumped by the family members and a big fight broke out? What if Isaiah goes to the party and Isaiah's dad lies on him because Isaiah's dad has already lied on his mother, right? So this is what you call a red flag. See, one of the things about this channel is I obey the information I give y'all. See, one thing I'm not is like a hypocrite. So the same advice that I tell y'all to keep you safe, I follow it in my personal life. That's why I'm on here doing videos all the time, because I'm not being unalived. Okay? So if somebody lie on your mama, okay, and your mama's pretty peaceful and polite, it's not a good idea to go into the lion's den because the red flag is already there. See, when somebody lies on you like that, right? What they're saying passive aggressively is they really want to fight you. See, somebody that tells a whole lie on you and saying that you got into it with somebody that you never got into it with, they want to fight. They want to fight you. And so what happens is Isaiah's dad is a covert aging narcissist. And Isaiah is a man now. Okay. So in the man world, Isaiah got to learn to be careful what kind of men he interacting with, because Isaiah is a black male and he's at that age where he could be hurt by anyone, even his own father. So Isaiah got off work and just used logic. You know, like Natalie said, how do I reduce the stress? Well, for one, you use logic. Who gonna pay $200 and some to go to a birthday party and they ain't going to it out of town? Now, if you paying $200 for a plane ticket and you going to a 40th birthday party out of town, that makes sense. But if it's in the same state, it's not worth it. But Isaiah has a family that does not support him. So, you know, Isaiah got off work and we talked about it. I updated Isaiah on all the information. And also, they wouldn't allow Daniel to come. So this is the thing. One of the first things that will happen before a violent attack is you will be isolated, right? So when there's a RSVP, okay, and people are telling you you cannot bring, especially family members that's in your home, when they're not going to use this word, you can't bring your protectors. They're going to say you can't bring them. But if you know that those are your protectors, see, myself and Daniel, we're Isaiah's protectors. We live, we're his protectors. So no one should go anywhere where your protectors are not allowed. Okay? We're talking about parties, events. Do not go, because you are what they want you there unprotected. So say Isaiah goes to one of these family events and this schizophrenic lying father, this covert narcissist father that he has. And from my perspective, do you know a lot of people can become kind of schizophrenic because they take too many prescription medications over a long period of time? Do you know that prescription meds can contribute to Alzheimer's and dementia? So remember, Isaiah's dad is a lot older than me, so he's an aging covert narcissist. You know another thing they do? They get pistols too. Aging covert narcissists. And the females do this too. An aging covert narcissist, they'll get pistols, y'all. That's one of the ways that an aging covert narcissist asserts their power is through getting a pistol. So, as a mother, it's my job to educate my male. And I can do a good job at it because, number one, I was not born and raised on the West Coast. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. So, when it comes to the street game and the logic and the game of protecting yourself, I'm going to be a very good source for that because I survived being raised in St. Louis, Missouri. Okay, I survived that. And I wasn't in no hood or nothing like that, but St. Louis, Missouri, even if you're in the nicest neighborhood, you're still at risk of anything happening. You're in St. Louis, Missouri. That was declared the murder capital later. Okay. And it's always been a lot of people in St. Louis, Missouri that was put down, unalived and robbed and injured and all kind of stuff happened. So it is my job as a mother to always be protective, no matter how old you are. Okay. If Isaiah was 50 years old, I should not be seeing red flags and not educate him on it. So basically, the ultimate choice that Isaiah made and that we made as a family was not to spend $200 to go to a birthday party that was basically going to be no more than 3 hours long. Okay. And to consider and to understand the red flag of how it appeared to be that it wouldn't be a good situation for Isaiah to be in alone. Don't go to an event and you're being told that your protectors can't come. It's not a good situation. That leaves you alone. So if Isaiah was to go to that party and the schizophrenic, covert narcissist, physically ill, mentally ill dad lies on Isaiah and a fight breaks out, who protects Isaiah? Because Isaiah's not close to these people. See, Isaiah's been in a no contact with these people for many, many years with his father's side of the family, right? So this is a situation where you gotta, if you're gonna be in no contact, stay in no contact. It is very dangerous. Look at what's happening. And I'm not gonna lie to you, y'all, the entire time when Isaiah was refusing to be in any contact with his dad's side of the family, I kind of judged him for it. I did. But Isaiah, no matter what I said, followed his instinct. Isaiah has pretty good instinct. I actually, in some sense, was wrong about this situation because my own son stayed in a no contact. Now, when he tried to come out of no contact with his dad's side of the family, that's when this abuse started, right? So safety over everything. Remember, I believe in death dates. There's many death dates, but you're only going to leave here on one of those dates. But the many death dates is the situations that you will be brought into that could lead to your death. These many death dates are preventable, y'all. It's all preventable, usually. Okay, usually. Most death dates is preventable if you're paying attention to the red flags. So what happened is Reese sent Isaiah a message saying she was sorry. There'll be other family events. So the cycle goes over again. But there's no one else. I explained this to Isaiah. I said, Isaiah, you got to think about this. There's no one else that has to show up at any of those events alone. No one else. Everyone else in that family, they will bring their co-worker, their best friend, their wife, their girlfriend, their other kids they done had. Even when I met Reba, she had her other daughter that she had after she left Isaiah's them dad. She had another little girl. Everybody in that family is allowed to bring they protectors with them. Why does Isaiah have to be the only one that is not bringing his protectors in that family? That's called isolation, y'all. Now, one of the things I'm strict on is when you try to isolate me, I back out of that whole situation. I'm going to give you another example. I had an estranged daughter that tried that with me. When she came back and attempted to come back in my life, and she expressed she didn't want to interact with her brothers. So what that does, that puts me in a form of isolation with her, even if I'm on video chat. Why do I have to sit in my house and I'm on video chat with somebody and I got to kind of like hide my family out from them? Y'all know when I'm on these lives, Daniel and Isaiah, they come in these videos and I do my phone chronicles. I tap y'all in onto some of my phone conversations and everything. So even on my live videos, I consider this a professional channel in essence, right? You still are allowed to hear my family. My family don't have to hide out from YouTube when I'm doing my video lives. Okay? They're allowed to come in here sometimes. So one of the things I do that I'm strict on, anybody that attempts to put me in any form of isolation, where they're isolating me to them, okay, whether it be through video chat or in person, I quickly remove myself from those situations because that is the beginning stage of abusing you. And it's emotional abuse. And the only type of person that would do that to you is people that do not love you. These are the type of people you want to be around. And I am around them with the church, anyone I'm around. They know how I roll. My family is invited. When you are RSVPing for these events, and your mother is your protector, your father is your protector, your brothers and your siblings, your cousins, and they telling you these people can't come and they ain't done nothing to these people, do not go. Isaiah just logically made the decision. We as a family made the decision. Make a decision based on finances. Isaiah and I, we talked about it over the phone. Daniel got a little involved, and we just made a logical decision as a family not to take $200 out of our household and spend it on Ubers going to a birthday party. And we considered how we were treated. If they want to get close to Isaiah, I think the best way to get close to him is not to abuse his mother and little brother and lie on his mother. If you want to get to have a tighter and more healthier relationship with Isaiah, they should try doing it genuinely, right? Because I'm not the reason Isaiah and his father are not close. It's because the father is a unfit deadbeat father and was not a consistent father and was sporadically in and out of his life. Okay? There's no court proceeding. There's none of that involved. And then Isaiah's father asked me on the phone, why wasn't I cussing him out? And I did many, many years ago. I used to cuss Isaiah's dad out. He was very annoying. I will do a separate video on the things that annoyed me about Isaiah's father and that made it very impossible and uncomfortable to remain in a relationship with Isaiah's father. Isaiah's father is socially awkward, y'all. And what I'm finding now is a lot of that, what I thought was socially awkward, that was part of his covert narcissism. Remember, a covert narcissist, you might not even find out they won the 80 years later, y'all, after you listed out these pattern of behaviors. Um, yeah, so that's just the way that worked out. So I left these messages for Reese because it's just not okay. Like, she sent Isaiah a message with the family. She said there'll be more family events. This was a family event. The 40th birthday party was a family event. And like I asked her on the messages, why does he have to go alone? Everybody else brings people. It's not normal. Isaiah has a very small family on the West Coast on his mother's side. We have a very, very small family that lives in this state. Isaiah not going to be going to the family event showing up with 15 people. Right? So it's very disturbing, the lie, just the total lie that was told. Like I said, Reba, she one of the sweetest women you could ever meet. I just met her one time when I was supporting her son that had passed away. I knew her son, which is Isaiah's big brother, Marcus. Reba thanked me for my kindness. She was real sweet to me. There was no argument. So you must take these things as a red flag, and you must avoid danger at all costs. See, Isaiah, I have to educate him on manhood, right? And it's not true that a lady can't do this. If I am aware of the world and people and narcissism, I can hip you to the game and tell you the road and what's normal and abnormal. Like I told Isaiah, you don't know if your dad is armed now. These aging narcissists, these covert aging narcissists, I know other ones, some of them females too. They getting these pistols as old as 80 some years old, y'all. Aging narcissists that were totally unarmed. They're getting their pistol permit and their concealed weapons permit at very, very aging ages. Imagine, you've been unarmed the last 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years, and you decide to suddenly get a pistol, which you have a right to do it. Okay. But the problem is when it's a aging covert narcissist. So when an aging covert narcissist get a pistol and you're not aware of it, every time you go around them, you are putting yourself in danger. And this is why they schizophrenia and they demons gonna tell them that this happened, and they believe they lies. Or they know it's a lie, but they use the lie to get into a fight with you. So like I told Isaiah, you don't know if your biological father is armed now. So he done already lied on your mother and said, I got into it with somebody I never got into it with. What he's doing is projecting. He's projecting onto me what he's going to do to my son Isaiah. So I said, you go into this event with no protection, and then you get there and he lie on you and he shoots you. That's how it can happen. It's called another death date. Remember I said it's many death dates. This is an excellent channel to come to, y'all, because I follow my own advice, right? So you hear at the right location. You must, at all costs, pay attention to a red flag. See, you got to accept this too, right? This is a hard thing to accept, but I'm willing to accept it. I love Isaiah. His father don't care nothing about him. Isaiah just another nigga on the street to this covert narcissist. That man will get into it with my son and unalive Isaiah. See, he's a covert narcissist. Isaiah's dad is a covert narcissist. There's no bond there. There's no bond. You must remember that. So, going back to one of the things Natalie asked, how do I handle the stress? Is by being realistic. Like an intelligent gentleman told me within the past couple of days, being a critical thinker, being an objective thinker. Being a subjective thinker will hurt you. Being an objective thinker and being a critical thinker, and when you're having your emotions under control too. This is just part of life. You're going to be invited places. There's going to be an invite that says RSVP on it. So one of the ways I handle stress, because this was one of Natalie's questions here, one of the ways I handle stress is being aware that I will be confronted with situations and I will be tested. And as a protector of my family and my household, I will be challenged. So the way I handle the stress is staying calm. I was calm, telling the truth. One, staying calm, telling the truth, finding out more information. Like I made that call to Isaiah's dad, confronting him without cursing. He used profanity, I didn't. Texting to get support. I asked Isaiah's dad for the support for the ride. He didn't want to support Isaiah. And you can give your child a ride, no matter how old they are. No matter how old your children are, you can purchase vehicles for them. You can help get them bank loans. You can pay for their Uber, and you can help provide transportation for your children, no matter what their age are or what their age is. A parent, if you have a respectful child and you have a son or daughter that you truly are happy with how they respect you, you can give them a ride at any age. You could be 100 and your child 80. If that 80-year-old child is protective and they're kind to you and loving, you can help your 80-year-old child even if you're 105 years old. You sure can. There's no age limit on helping your child. Now, for a disrespectful child, there's a different set of rules. You cannot treat your disrespectful child in the same way that you do your respectful child, because a disrespectful child, you're going to have a plan to avoid from being in danger. A disrespectful child is dangerous to you, but I'm talking about a respectful child, a respectful adult child, a respectful teenage child, a respectful aging child. You can help them. It's safe to help them. They're not going to hurt you. So that's how I handle stress. And we were calm. I use no profanity. It's my job as Isaiah's mother to help assist him on how to be a better man. I had to tell Isaiah, you are this age now. See, like I told Isaiah, his covert narcissist father, and I didn't call his father a covert narcissist that day. I said, your father, he acting like he not your protector. That's how you get yourself unalived. He don't even want to help Isaiah with a ride. the same way he did Isaiah when he left Isaiah in that car. He told Isaiah this when he was young. He should just be a cameraman. Basically, he's letting Isaiah know. And when he say just be a cameraman, he's not really saying like he's doing it professionally for a company. He basically, in a passive aggressive way, just pick up your phone and take photos, man. But Isaiah turned out to be much, much more. And Isaiah can be a cameraman on the side. There's nothing wrong with being a cameraman. But when a covert narcissist says that to their child, when they're at a basketball game, and the covert narcissist dad is telling Isaiah how bad he is at basketball. Isaiah was just playing basketball for fun and exercise. At no point did we think, it's very rare that most people that play high school basketball, it's very rare that they're going to be pulled and drafted into the NBA. That's very, very rare. But this is how Isaiah's dad, the covert narcissist, talked about Isaiah. But the thing is, this is what you got to realize. Isaiah's young, handsome, well-dressed. Everybody loves him and likes him. Isaiah's not severely physically sick. He's not riddled with all kind of horrible health conditions. Isaiah is a happy person. And you must remember this. A covert narcissist is capable of being jealous of his own son. You know, Marvin Gaye's father was jealous of Marvin Gaye. You see where Marvin Gaye ended up, in a gravesite. Now, they were just a bad match altogether. Marvin Gaye and his father, they are both disrespecting one another. But in Isaiah's case, the disrespect is truly one-sided. Isaiah has never talked back to this man, but he still, no matter what, won't even give Isaiah a ride. Isaiah, my son, is being disrespected by his covert narcissist father. So my conclusion and summary is, I feel like there's jealousy. I feel like Isaiah's father, from my perspective, is somewhat jealous of Isaiah. Oh, because Isaiah is much, much more than just a cameraman. Yes, Isaiah, he can do some camera work too. That's Daniel's specialty. Daniel is a trained cameraman. Daniel is a professional cameraman, okay? But Isaiah's dad, decades and decades ago, used that comment to insult Isaiah. He devalued Isaiah. So, okay, now Isaiah grows up. Isaiah's doing pretty good for himself. The narcissist, the covert narcissist, is aging out, sick, asking me, why didn't I stay with him? When Isaiah's dad asked me that, that's part of what shows me that he's severely mentally ill. But one thing I don't do with narcissists like this, I keep narcissists out of my spirituality. The truth is, if someone didn't stay with you, the Lord don't want them with you. That's why. You and that person, or just one of y'all, is being heavily protected by the Lord. It was an insane question. I'm not with you, dog, because the Lord don't want me with you. Look how he's acting and behaving. Look how Isaiah's covert narcissism makes him lie on me. Why would the Lord want me with a man like that? that do you think the Lord would keep me with a man that just was aging out on a bunch of prescription meds for all kind of illnesses he got? I mean, I serve a good Lord, right? So the Lord was looking out for me. It's not the lifestyle I want. I don't desire that lifestyle. Right now, I would have a patient on my hand. So the Lord made a decision that I not be his caregiver. Okay? And I not be his woman. This is beyond me. If I don't stay with somebody or I don't stay around, this is above me. It's not about me. It's about what the Lord wants for me as well. And the Lord told me, you know, my mother dreamed about Isaiah. He's my first son. My mother didn't have a dream that I was holding a baby and I was sitting with the man. My mother just had a dream just about Isaiah. Do you know the way Isaiah looks? The dream my mother had, it was a vision. My mother used to have visions. The vision my mother had, Isaiah looks just like that vision she described, kind of like a China doll, right? So my mother prophesied way before I got pregnant that I was going to have a son. My mother did not prophesy that I was going to have a son and it was going to be this one big happy family and you and the covert narcissist going to stay together till y'all 98 years old and y'all going to be out in the sun, kicking it at the beach. It's going to be a funny old time. Y'all just going to be having a jolly old time. My mother did not say none of that. She dreamed that I had a son. And that's what happened. I had my first son. And I've taken care of my son. There's no father around. That wasn't part of the dream. So when Isaiah's dad is asking me, why didn't I stay with him? Because the Lord don't want me with you, dog. But I don't discuss that with covert narcissists. See, because they don't believe in what you believe in. Because if he believed in the Lord, he wouldn't have needed to ask me that. See, an aging narcissist that knew about the Lord wouldn't need to ask me no crap like that. It's a common sense thing. And narcissists, they forget about the complaints you had. One of the things I'm going to say about me with any man, my first complaints about Isaiah's dad came when I was living with him. So we were living together as a family. Okay, and the way he conducts himself as a family man, he's non-violent now. He wasn't violent, but he's too socially awkward. And it just will not work, right? So I will do a separate video going over why it just wouldn't have worked. But this narcissist, see, when a narcissist ages out, they forget about those complaints. Imagine decades and decades later, and you don't know why somebody left you. That's kind of scary. I just told him I wasn't happy with the treatment. And I'll do a separate video about that because this video is not about that. But in summary, when there's a RSVP and you are being told that your family can't come, and people can't come, party protocol, event protocol in general, usually at Black events, what in the heck is this? This is a party here, y'all. So at Black events, I'm saying Black events, and this finna get loose is on. So at black events, fair use y'all for this. So at black events, um, especially when you RSVP, you should be taking someone with you, whether it be your spouse, your one of your parents, both of your parents, your children, cousins. The exception would be an educational event where you have to RSVP and they say only students are allowed. I'm talking about personal events and parties. That is a major red flag. You could RSVP and they say don't bring your partner, don't bring somebody, and that could be where you're set up at. A lot of people go to parties and they do not come home alive. Okay, so protocol, party protocol. I'm giving you party protocol. I was born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri. Party protocol is I go nowhere and somebody tell me my mother, my brother, my sister, my cousin, I go nowhere where I'm being told that my protectors are not allowed. And I gave you the exception. Party protocol. You just in general should not be going to events and parties and concerts alone. Okay, in general, this is party and event protocol. I follow this protocol. That's why I'm still alive. Another protocol, if your relative or someone close to you has been lied on, don't you go into the lion's den. So next you lied on too. And the reason you want to protect yourself in this way, you don't want to be unalive and you don't want to be put in the policing system. You don't want to get restraining orders filed against you and you don't want to be arrested. See, Isaiah is prison age now. Your own father, if you got a covert narcissist father, his desire is to ruin your life. See, number one, a covert narcissist father, they don't want to just ruin your life, but they don't care about ruining your life. If Isaiah met up and went in the lion's den and got into some kind of physical dispute that the covert narcissist father would start, of course, Isaiah could get himself shot and hurt, and he could get himself arrested. That's right up a covert narcissist alley. Covert narcissist fathers are very jealous of their sons. And if their son grow up and become somebody and they don't end up being the depressed, unhappy person. Because see, a covert narcissist father, when he is emotionally neglecting his son and he tries to be sporadically in and out of his life, he wants to destroy his nature. A covert narcissist father, he wants to destroy his own son ability to be successful in the world. He wants his son, a covert narcissist father, and this is how I feel about Isaiah's father. He wants Isaiah just as unhappy as he is. A covert narcissist father is a dangerous father. And as a mother, I am not harming Isaiah by telling him the truth. I'm actually preventing Isaiah from entering into a death date. When you RSVP and there's this kind of conflict, I've never RSVP'd in my life for anyone, myself or anyone in my family, and been treated in such a horrible way. But hey, it's the first time for everything, right? What do I teach on this channel and explain on this channel? No matter how much I'm in no contact with narcissists, I'm still gonna meet new ones. So I entered into it during the RSVP. That might be a little test or trick y'all could run. I just learned a new trick. When you do a RSVP, let them know you're bringing your protectors. Don't word it like that, but say, hey, I'm bringing Uncle Bill, Auntie Mary. And when they act up on you, you know that that's where you're not supposed to be. So hopefully that makes sense. So they dancing with this finna get loose video. Listen to this, y'all. And none of these people entered this dance event alone. This is a perfect example with this dancing, finna get loose Puff Daddy event here. So, oh, let me see. Natalie said I learned a lot. Let me see. Let me read these comments here. Thank you, Natalie, for saying you learned a lot and you said 100. So Athenshaw, oh, Athenshaw, you're back. Natalie came in. Thank you both. So Athenshaw, have a great day at school. So Afenshaw's gone, but he'll rewatch the video. So bye, Afenshaw. Enjoy school. And let me see what the other comment is. Oh, Natalie, thank you for telling Afenshaw good day at school. And Natalie, I always appreciate you coming in and being very you're pretty much like my moderator. I mean, people always asking me to be a moderator. I think I have one. It's Natalie. It's Natalie, right? Because she does everything a moderator would do. Yeah, that's my moderator, y'all. Well, I don't need to get one. She's here. And she's in, usually most of the videos. If somebody gets out of hand, Natalie says something to them. She stops the trolls. She speaks. She's doing everything a moderator would do. So, I mean, this is pretty much my moderator. Thank you. Thank you, Natalie, for being my moderator. So, thank you for the beautiful hearts too, Natalie. And Natalie, I appreciate the question. So I hope that made sense on how I handle stress. So, and also another way I handle it is I use the stress as a teaching tool. See, the Lord is going to allow things to happen to me so I can teach. So guess what? Now you know how to deal with this RSVP. And if you ever ran into a problem when you RSVP for an event, you already see you're going to be ahead of the game. I didn't watch a RSVP go wrong video. So you're going to be one step ahead of me. Okay. Oh, okay. Natalie says it did make sense. I understand what your son is experiencing. And see, people are testing you too. You got to let your children know this. So this is a test. When you are of age, so see, nobody is going to respect anybody that allows other people to harm their mother. So they wouldn't do it. If I had, like I said, Isaiah's grandma on the dad side, she's most likely a covert narcissist. And covert narcissists, females and men, are very protected because they have a lot of what the internet calls flying monkeys, the narcissist coterie. They have a lot of those. Covert narcissists will have more support than empaths will because they're so toxic and manipulative. It worked, y'all. Keep in mind, when Isaiah's covert narcissist daddy lied on me, It worked. It actually destroyed a beautiful moment. None of us made it to that 40th birthday party, but Isaiah's being tested as well. See, it's kind of like this. If Isaiah would have showed up, they'll think he's like a weak man. So they're like, damn, we just disrespected, because they know that they're disrespecting your mother and little brother. I mean, Reese, she sent an apology to Isaiah, and I left her the voicemail messages so we could try to work it out. Because he's not going over there by himself. It's not safe. Isaiah doesn't have a protective father. He doesn't have the protection of his own father. Remember what happened to Marvin Gaye, y'all? Marvin Gaye daddy was jealous of him. Hold on, let me read these comments here. I'm going to read Natalie's comment here. Okay, so Natalie says that my father died when I was 5 or 6 years old. I was invited to my grandfather's funeral, a man that never contacted me when my dad passed or as I was growing. He died a few months back. Oh, I'm sorry about that. But he was very neglectful, right? So your father died when you were young, and then your grandfather was behaving like a covert narcissist, right? Actually, your grandpa is acting like an overt narcissist. He's not contacting you. Your grandpa probably was real jealous of your daddy. That's the way he shows that he hates your daddy, by never contacting you. Covert narcissists, narcissist fathers and grandfathers. Your father doesn't sound like a narcissist. The grandfather does, Natalie. So a covert narcissist grandfather or father, they don't love their children. They don't love, whether you a girl or a boy. You were his granddaughter, but he don't love you. Yeah, your dad was the best, yeah. But your grandfather probably was highly jealous of your father. I mean, you know the advice I'm gonna give you, Natalie. And HG Tutor did a video about this, how to move on from a narcissist, and understanding this frees you. It's been several videos HG Tutor where let me see. Hold on. Natalie says, both my father's parents are weird. Yeah. And the weirdness is their narcissism. When you say they're weird, that's what they feel like. You know, it's weird because I was just using that terminology when I did my live videos on how we finally found, my little sister found my grandmother's restaurant. And my grandmother and Mitch, the man that was down there, both of them acted very strange and weird. That's their narcissism. So when you feel like they weird, that's the narcissism. If they empaths, you're not going to feel like they weird. And if those kids are going to be narcissists, so say you around some kids that's going to grow up and be narcissists, they'll feel like the empaths, and normals are weird. They sure will. But that's that narcissism. So Natalie, I hope you wasn't crying over grandpa because that's irrational. Now, Natalie, you've been at this channel long enough where we're using a lot of logic here. So you didn't cry, right? No mean you didn't cry. So Natalie, you saying no to tears, right? Natalie's so cute. She got the the laughing emojis. Good. Okay, because I have a playlist called Sad Management. Okay. So one of the things I'm real strict on is not crying over these fools. My grandmother had narcissistic traits. And I will be doing videos about it, but my little sister contacted me. I was actually in a no contact with my sister. We each other blocked, and she found the videos of my grandmother. What I did was focused on my little sister because my little sister was not a sociopath or narcissist when she was a kid. That she wasn't born a sociopath or narcissist. So my little sister was genuine, innocent, very talented little girl. So what I did, I just did the lives on this, the last two lives, going over my grandmother's restaurant and all the old school days and all of that. So I got to get a glimpse because remember on the videos of my grandmother, because I put it under my fair use in the description on my last two lives that I did. My grandmother is one of my abusers. Did she do good things for me? Yes. But I was in a highly abusive, neglectful situation before I left St. Louis, Missouri. I escaped that restaurant. So you get to go watch those live videos and look in the description box, and now you get to see what I escaped. A woman that's just concerned about her restaurant, and that's it. She didn't talk to my little sister one time in that interview. So I let it go, but what I shouldn't be doing is crying and breaking down crying over my grandmother being deceased, because for one, I should have grieved over that. My grandmother been deceased a very long time, but we must stop wasting our tears on these abusers. We just have to. Like H.G. Tudor, when he did the video Moving On from the Narcissist, this lady was in extreme abuse by her ex-husband and he died. And she was crying when H.D. Tudor was doing his life coach counseling with her, his work that he does. And she told H.D. Tudor, well, you don't know why I'm crying. She said that because H.D. Tudor is a narcissistic psychopath. And H.D. Tudor says, I do know why you're crying, but you should be happy he's gone. And this is the truth. Natalie grandfather, right here, as she's describing, her father died when she was 5 or 6 years old, and her grandfather never paid any attention or tried to have any type of relationship with her. And Natalie should not be crying over her grandfather. It's unhealthy to do this. I have a playlist called Sad Management. I have a playlist called Sad Management, and that's part of Sad Management. Sad management is just like anger management. Now, I don't think that Natalie should be mad at grandpa and hate him and say, ooh, I'm glad that motherfucking nigga dead. I call any race niggas, in this sense. So that's not a healthy outcome. Natalie should be indifferent. See, Natalie has been on this channel long enough not to be crying when narcissists pass away, grandpa or not. We got to live our life. Our life is not meant to be crying over narcissists. That part got to stop. When I went over that video with my little sister, she has an attachment to my grandmother. I focused on my sister because when I was watching the video that my sister found of my grandmother, my little sister is what made that video interesting to me. I'll do a separate reaction of that at some point, but my little sister is what made that video interesting to me. I'm watching the video. I mean, I already know that the restaurant is not going to be reopened. The fact that it was being closed is a form of karma. It was just an end to it. You know, everything ain't just karma. Look, my grandmother had aged out. On that video, my grandmother just about 70 years old, y'all. Retire. It's not just that it's just karma. God is taking, my grandmother could not understand that the Lord is taking her on her next journey. Retirement. Ma'am, the restaurant is closed. It's not getting ready to be reopened because you are 70 years old. This is what the Lord is saying to my grandmother. But my grandmother not listening to no Lord. My grandmother thinks she in control of everything. Yeah, I was happy to see because you know what? It helped heal my conscience because on the video my little sister was happy. So I'm glad that I had this guilt about the fact that when my sister came back from Alabama, I had left, but I had to escape the neglectful, toxic situation. And I will be doing another video. Um, okay, so Natalie says they had the nerves to list me on this on his obituary too, like I was upset about it. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, let me read the first comment first. Okay, sorry about that. So, good job, Natalie, not crying over the neglectful grandpa. He's an abuser. Severe neglect. Um, he didn't want to have nothing to do with you, so don't be crying over that man. Though any tears need to be, if you're gonna cry, cry over your father, not over the grandpa. The grandpa is not worth it. So, okay, Natalie says, I haven't been in contact with my father's side of the family since his passing. They are all unwell and they will never see me. The way they treated me let me know they dislike my dad and I. I agree with that. The same thing Isaiah's going through. So you're actually you're able to have empathy because you're really like understanding Isaiah's situation. That's nice. I'm glad I did this video. It helped. Yeah. It's so what I was explaining is basically I almost explained your life, but it's in my son life, right? It's just you're a girl and Isaiah's a boy. You know, I call us girls and boys. No matter how old we are, that's what we are. So um yeah, they're gonna put you on the obituary to make it seem like he was a good grandpa. That's part of the covert narcissism. Um, okay, so it says that's beautiful. You are able to have memories of your sister as a child. Yes, and I was appreciative of that, but I had to focus on those memories, not on my abuser, because that restaurant, I escaped that place, right? I wasn't just moving, I'm escaping a toxic environment. And like I said, I'll do another video about that. I really enjoyed watching the video of my grandmother slow dancing on another video, y'all. I saw my grandmother slow dancing, y'all, on the last live I think I just did. So the last two lives is when me and my sister are going over this stuff. Okay, so Natalie says, don't be surprised if he is the main topic, even though they don't want him around. Oh, I know what you mean. Don't. Oh, you saying if Isaiah's dad died, it would be like how they did with your grandpa, like they just talking a lot about you, trying to make it seem like so. Like at your grandpa funeral, they bringing you up like you Like you was the favorite granddaughter, right? Oh yeah, they'll do that. They'll do that. Sure will. But covert narcissists, um, I'm learning more about black narcissistic males. And I have a list because I do my video ideas, right? And every time I have a video idea, oh yeah, they are performative. Yeah, very performative. It's all a show. With covert narcissists and narcissists, it's all a show. HG would call them middle range narcissists. It's all a show. HG Tutor would call them middle range narcissists. It's all a show. And after that show, after the event, all of those narcissists take their ass home and they suffer from the same freaking depression. The events are a show, but them motherfuckers remain mentally fucking ill. And I'm talking about severely mentally ill when they ass lead a performance. That's their punishment. They are performing. Yes, very performative. They sure are. You ain't lying about that. I was watching my own grandmother do it. I love my grandmother on the video, but I was watching her perform. I sure was. And they're so unrealistic, especially aging narcissists. I'm looking at my own grandmother like, ma'am, this business is not opening back up. I'm so glad I had escaped. It was just a horrible, very sad and traumatizing situation for myself and my grandmother because she's losing her restaurant, but she has no regard that she's losing people too. You losing people too. Two people, myself and my daughter, had escaped her. She still was trying to save the restaurant. Sure was. Natalie says, I wish I had someone like yourself growing up. It would have been great. A lot of them tend to not want to talk about feelings. They just don't care. Oh, yeah. They're big on that, Natalie. You know what? I wish I would have had me growing up. I tell my sons that if I had me growing up, I would be better today. I sure would. So thank you for that compliment, Natalie. I say that about my own self. I tell my sons all the time, just my communication skills. But see, I try to change the way I was treated. Neglect ain't communication. It's bad communication. They just showing you how much they hate you. I'm strong on this, y'all. Natalie, let me tell y'all this. I can't stand this one thing, right? My thing is I believe in placing kids, right? So I'm not actively, there's a lot of kids I'm not choosing to have anything to do with. It's okay. I mean, but in my case, there's narcissists that are taking care of these kids. See, I'm avoiding early death dates. I'm not taking no chance on my life, right? The devil would love to have me out of here. So I can't do no YouTube video or anything. The Lord love what I'm doing, but the devil don't, right? So I'm not going to make it so easy for the devil to take me up off this planet, okay? So I just keep that in mind. So Natalie, I appreciate those kind words of you saying, and you got me now. That's the main thing. Life ain't over. I didn't have me when I was little neither, but we got each other now. Because remember, keep this in mind. I always tell y'all this. I've mentioned this here and there. It's called Advanced Insight Channel because of what y'all bring in here too. It's the truth. Look at how much I learned on the live. Remember, Natalie, when you and Black Coffee were on here and you were basically moderating on that live. This Natalie's my moderator. Goodness. I mean, that's what she's doing. And see, people would come in here and they would ask if they could be my moderator. But see, I'm a woman that believe in the Lord. The Lord gonna show me. The Lord just had a person moderating. I really don't need to hire a moderator or tell someone you're the moderator. They're just gonna start doing it. Moderating is natural. You're interacting with the other chat members. You know what to say. You naturally speak. But these strangers would just come in here. Can I be your moderator? Can I be your moderator? I'm like, it's crazy. I'm like, why don't they just start moderating? If they want to be a moderator, just start doing it. But they were very entitled instead of allowing me. Yeah, tricksters. Yeah. Thank you, Natalie. And then I mean, even though we a team here, I should be saying who the moderator. And this is a small channel. There's not like on all videos. Some videos, especially when I do my videos like early in the day, there's not a bunch of there's some chats, but not a lot of chats, right? It just depends. I've done videos during the day where there's a lot of chats, but like right now on the West Coast, it's 8:09 p.m. Yeah, I get that, Natalie. Like you said, at the end of the day, it's your channel. Yeah, that's true. But if don't nobody come in here and view the videos or subscribe, then it's not. There's a catch-22 to it. It's my channel, but it's not a channel if no one comes here. It's really if no one ever views or leaves a comment or chat or subscribes, like, share, and subscribe. It's very it's just it's not a prosperous channel if nobody ever comes here. So yeah, but that's look at this channel a little different. I try not to take too much ownership of it because in all reality, if there's no views, Victoria Unfiltered, she said that there's going to be this thing starting on YouTube where they're going to expect potentially, this is what Victoria Filter said, that they're going to expect the YouTubers to at least get 20,000 views a year. And I get that a year. I average about maybe 27,000 views a year. So if that's true, if YouTube develops some kind of standard on how many views we're getting a year, then I would meet that standard, if that makes sense. So let me see. I'm trying to figure this out. Yeah, exactly, Natalie. For like to upload lives for YouTube partnerships, yeah. So like that this is what Victoria Unfiltered was saying on one of her lives. YouTube hasn't said that as of yet, but a lot of things that Victoria Unfiltered says will come true. She's very prophetic. I've done reactions to her videos. So she has a lot of she has a prophetic gifts. So yeah, so for channels, I'm like right now I'm at a hundred and over 120,000 views. So I meet I get more than 20,000 views per year. Because that's the main number I look at. I check how many views. So I average about 600 to 700 views a week is what I average. And so about 2,500 views a month. So I average about 27,000 views a year if you look at my total views, because that's what you got to look at. I mean, when you got a small channel, you just got to look at your total views. You can't be sitting here like, you got to be more focused on uploading when you have a channel. You can't be, if you're going to be a YouTuber with a small channel, you can't be going into like depression, right? Like, oh, this video just got 38 views. Oh, this video got 100 views. You can't be going through this mood swing roller coaster on views. The thing is, when you upload, small or big channel, long as there's views, that's the main concern. Every video I upload, whether it be a live video or a regular video, I will have views. That's what I have to focus on. Did I get views? Some videos I only get 5 views. You know, I do upload regular videos too, not just lives. But I have been focused more on my lives because that's when my views went up and that's when I started getting subscribers again. At one point, I wasn't getting any new subscribers. I was hanging on to my old subscribers and my, subscribers that I had, but it is a good idea to gain new subscribers and gain more views. So when I was allowed to do live videos, I just one day just clicked on live and it let me do it. I said, oh, YouTube is allowing me to do lives. I think YouTube emails me and stuff. I think they emailed me and told me that too, but I don't check the freaking emails. I'm going to be honest. I'm not that advanced yet, y'all. That's when I'm going to become a millionaire too, when I get on my email game. That's one of my weaknesses, y'all, checking email. Because I just don't have time to do both, Let me check the comment once again. Yeah, like Natalie said, true, you have to keep it going. Thank you for being so motivational, Natalie. And I hope I'm as motivational for you too. I appreciate you so much, Natalie. You're so kind-hearted. I love the way Natalie writes. It's so pretty. It is so pretty. Oh, thank you, Natalie. Thank you. Yeah, I just so in summary, I gotta call Isaiah now because he's off work. But in summary, the RSVP thing. So my last piece of advice here: if somebody telling you that you could come to a party, and I'm talking about a personal event and party. This is not school related. This ain't class. This ain't college. Okay. Of course, if it's a class, you can only RSVP yourself usually, right? But if it's personal, a birthday party, some sort of concert or event, you should be able to bring people with you. Okay. When the RSVP is going bad and they're trying to put you in a form of isolation. See, those are just Isaiah blood family members. They're biologically related, but they're not really his family like that. Daniel and I are Isaiah's family. Okay? Because we're here with them every day. We who would fight for Isaiah. We're who would call the police if something, was happening and we needed help to get Isaiah help. Also, worst case scenario, people don't think about this. Going into an event, we don't think about this, but I'm going to bring this up. Don't think I'm crazy. You go into an event and they want you there alone. Can't nobody else come with you. But remember, Isaiah is going to be the only one in that family that's coming by itself, really. Everybody else got somebody with him. Why can't Isaiah bring somebody with him? See this isolation here? One of the things you also have to think about, y'all, is being poisoned. You don't think about that, do you? Going to a party and you get yourself poisoned. The bad drink. You have to think about that. People are wicked, y'all. There's some diabolical, wicked people out here. Usually that won't happen, but it is a potential risk. But at this event, the food and drinks was in the open. Okay, so Isaiah's greatest risk would have been the risk of being lied on and he be assaulted. Because Isaiah has no protector there. His own dad's not his protector. So, Natalie, like when you ask that question, how do I handle stress? That's how I handled this situation. And you know what else I do? I do a video and move on from it. I communicate too. I left the voicemails in the beginning for Reese, but they're narcissists. So they don't want to really work out the problem, right? Because they don't feel any empathy for me. They don't feel anything on how I feel about my son entering into a lion's den. Because Isaiah's a man now. His schizophrenic, covert narcissist father, he's not protecting him. You know what? The covert narcissist, if Isaiah got into it with one of his family members or their family members at one of the parties, Isaiah's dad would protect the other people. Isaiah wouldn't protect Isaiah's dad. The covert narcissist would not choose Isaiah's side because there's no bond with him as a son. They're just sperm donors. That's what it boils down to. But let me get off here because I need to call Isaiah and make sure he's safe, y'all. Let me check. Natalie, I love you so much. And I appreciate you coming in. And thank you for moderating today on this channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for being a moderator and for put it on your resume. I'll confirm it. If you want to, you can put this on your resume as volunteer work, right? So if you wanted to add this on your resume that you are a moderator for Advanced Insight Channel, add it to your resume. You sure could. Get something out of everything you do. Yeah. It helps. Being a moderator is like it leads to different jobs, side hustles, and businesses. Yeah. See, we're in this AI thing, right? So anything digital, anything that connects you to content creation, you can put on your resume. I'm confirming you're a moderator right here on this video because that's what you're doing. You're communicating with the chat members. You keep all of them calm. No troll's gonna come in here just because you're here. And if a troll tried it, you would get rid of the troll. I don't even have to do it. So that's what a moderator does. A moderator gets rid of the troll. Yeah. My YouTube channel is gonna be on my resume. Now, what you do have a right to do is when you tell them you're a moderator, you don't have to give them the channel name. Sometimes you may want to keep it confidential. You can have, like I could confirm that you're a moderator, because what you want to do is protect yourself from biasness and discrimination, because we discuss a lot of personal topics on here. So yeah, so what a lot of people do is they put it on their resume, but it's like, yes, I'm a moderator. The channel's confidential because of the potential risk of biasness that I already see. So you can do it both ways. You can report the channel. Either way, I don't care. If you put that you're a moderator here and you put it under other skills, volunteer work, or work history, whatever you put it under, you could put the channel. You could put advanced insight channel. I'm just telling you different ways to do it so that anything we say and do here is not held against you, and it doesn't block you from opportunities, right? So I love you, Natalie, and I love everyone. Natalie, thank you for moderating today. I appreciate you so much. And hopefully these tips help. I'm sorry about your grandfather passing away. It's a really sad thing that he passed away and he missed out on getting to know a beautiful girl. So he loses, the grandfather loses. Um, I love you more and you're welcome. It's my pleasure. So, and thank you for your knowledge as well and for helping my anxiety. Natalie, you know, every time you come in here, it helps my anxiety and gives me the strength to do the video, right? Because, you know, I'm still learning too, but um, it gives me some feedback on what I'm good at and what I'm not so good at when you come in here. So I need feedback because I mean, I just can't assume I'm helping somebody. I mean, if nobody tells me, if nobody tells me that I'm, you know, doing anything good, I mean, you need feedback, right? I mean, because it helps make the other lives better. So, let me see. Yeah, yeah. Natalie says, let the anxiety go. Yeah, but mild anxiety is my protector. So it's good when I don't feel any of it because it means that I'm not in a situation where I'm being harmed. So mild anxiety is good because it lets you know, it's kind of like that hypervigilance. It lets you know when you're in an environment. Like I will feel anxiety when trolls and narcissists come in here. But if my anxiety is calm, I'm in a protective state on a video, you know. So anyway, I'm getting ready to call Isaiah and check on him. Um, and again, Natalie, I love you. I appreciate you for moderating here today. And I'm tuning in for more. Oh, your anxiety used to make you sweat, Natalie. Yeah. Mine, you got the sweating thing. I got the shaking thing. My hand will start shaking if mine gets too severe. So I have the nervous system anxiety if it gets out of hand. But yeah, some people do sweat. They do. Everybody's different. So see, sweating comes from a part of your nervous system as well, especially if you don't have a sweating condition, right? Because some people have issues with their pores and they're diagnosed with sweating conditions. But if it only happens when you feel anxiety, then it's that sweat is the source of it is still your nervous system. The same thing that would make my hand shake when mine gets out of hand. So yeah, that's not. Some people lose their hair falls out. Um, they lose weight, gain weight for no reason. Some people even start retaining water in their body. Their cortisol levels go up and they develop more water retention. And some of that causes blood pressure increases and stuff. You know, it's all kind of stuff. So again, thank you so much, Natalie and everyone. Thank you so much for everyone that participated in the chat. And tune in for more. And Natalie, thank you for coming in again. And I thank everyone. And yep, thank you so much for the pretty hearts and emojis. And Natalie, I'm sorry that your grandfather passed away again, but I'm glad that you're indifferent to him and you're not crying over him. I didn't know your grandpa, but he you shouldn't be crying over him. I don't even think he would want you crying over him, to be honest. I think your grandfather would understand why you're not crying. Yeah, you don't know him. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just he's your biological grandpa. Some people will still feel some kind of way, but like you say, you don't know him. So that's why don't cry over him. Find something to do with your time, like being here, um, updating your resume, adding me on it, and just doing something more with your time. So finna get loose, y'all. I'm gonna put this video in the description box. I think this finna get loose with these people dancing, all these old school um women. Let me see if it's any men. I just see all women. Oh no, I see a man. I see some men. Yeah, I see one man there. Yeah, it look kind of like a 60s or 70s party. So let me see. Natalie says I'm Haitian, so my people are mean. Yeah, Haitians are pretty there's nice Haitians, but they don't play. Haitians are they don't mess around. They don't mess around. Yeah. And I think pretty much a lot of different ethnic groups are getting pretty mean now. African American, Black, Haitian, if you have Negro heritage, Indian, whatever, Spanish, people get mean now. Okay. So again, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Bye. Tune in for more, y'all. Bye, Natalie. See you on the next live.